Hello, welcome to another live stream. It's been a little while since I've been on YouTube and Twitch, but hi. I thought I needed to sort of theme these things up so I have some idea of what to draw moving forward. So I think instead of streaming my work, which is what I did yesterday, because I don't want to give too much away, um, I'll do that a bit less frequently. But for these more regular ones, I wanted a theme. So what I'm thinking is superhero alphabet maybe, um, which means today we'd be starting with A because that's the first letter. So I thought I might be being a bit ambitious. However, Aquaman could be the way to go for A. And if you have any suggestions for future letters, then drop them in the comments or DM me, and we'll be good to go from there. So, if you do not already, you can follow me on social media. These are where you can follow me. And otherwise, we can probably get started. So, if you're in the chat, give me a what's up so I can have a chat with you. I'm just getting the chat set up. Sorry, give me a minute. But it doesn't want to work. Okay. Hey, Bunker Games, howdy. What's up? Hey, sorry about that game yesterday when we were playing. Man, something was wrong with my Fortnite, so I don't know what was happening. Um, Let me know if there's any audio problems as well. If the drawing freezes up or anything like that. Because man, that happened yesterday. I was like yammering on about what I was doing, and the capture here had just frozen for a long time, and no one told me. So if that happens, let me know. Otherwise, we can get started. So yeah, cool beans. So yeah, as I said, I'm probably being a little ambitious. I had an idea for Aquaman. Let me just figure out what I'm doing. So as I said, probably being a little ambitious, but we'll see where we go. If there's any questions along the way, just let me know. And of course, if you're on my stream, you will be subject to me shamelessly promoting my upcoming book um, and things of that nature. So I'll just grab it now, actually, to save some time later. Hey, look at that. It's a book. Yay. Cool. I'll pick that up every now and then. Okay. So now I've got to think of who the B superhero is going to be. I'm thinking Beast, maybe? From X-Men, obviously. But I don't know. It's not going to be an exact seahorse, but just wanted to get some ideas. Because for one, I just need to go, it's going to have to go back more than usual. But I think we can cheat enough. Something like that. As I said, I could be overreaching here. What I do like on this is how the seahorse already looks armored. I probably won't do that. That's pretty cool. And obviously I'm going to have some artistic license. Looks like its mouth's down here, right? Like a horse. Guess you're probably going to have to put reins on it. Probably some sort of saddle. Let's match those up actually. And I'm going to try and keep up with the chat. So if I'm looking that way I'm looking now. Now what I've got to figure out is how to get this anti-flicker off my webcam. It's terrible. It wasn't that bad in the test. So you might just have to cope with it for now. Should be watching the drawing anyway. Said I wasn't going to do that, but here we are. Right. That's not too bad, right? I think that's all right. Figure it out as we go. Mm, Maybe you should look a bit more battle hardened. Maybe give us some scars and stuff later. I don't know. Rough them up a bit. So I'm going to go in a different lane because I'm not too. I kind of like the seahorse, and I don't want to have to erase him if I get the next part wrong. And we're going to go with. Sorry, we're going to go with classic comic book Aquaman, not Jason Momoa Aquaman. If this picture works out like it is in my head, I think it could be pretty cool. We'll see. I made a reference before. Never know how thick I should be doing these things, you know? These tridents and spears and all that. That might be already. The force he would need to send it through the water anyway. Okay. And it's going to be an actual trident, not these five-pronged deals. What is that? It's not a trident. I'm gonna have to cheat because I don't want to. Does that look about right? I think so. It's quite a hefty trident, though. Oh yeah. Um, let's merge those two. Oh yeah. It's all right. So like this. Spending more time on the trident than I am on either the seahorse or the actual guy. Oh well, that looks all right. It's probably a bit big. That might be better. Yeah, cool beans. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, just trying to juggle two. Um, oh, are you on Twitch? I thought you were on YouTube. Okay, so I have to juggle the YouTube one. Might not be any viewers, so that's probably. Oh no. Oh yes. I don't know. Um, okay. Anyway, we'll continue on. Probably don't need that seahorse reference anymore. Handy tool that, especially because it doesn't capture the reference window in those time lapses that I post. I should use it more. I often forget. You know, one of my favorite Fortnite skins is Black Manta. It's such a good skin, but man, he's a hard one to draw correctly. Man, I just watched the new Superman trailer. Hot dog. I really want to see that movie. So good. Cannot wait. There are a few things that made me go, huh, in the trailer, but overall I'm liking the vibe. Certainly an improvement of what we had last time. Gosh, maybe I should just leave the how it was. We'll fix it up in post, as I always say. Okay. Let's give him another one. Never hurts to have more, I'm sure. Do they have like, I need their reference picture back. Um, oh, oh, that's right. They sort of bob through the water. I was thinking, does it have little, you know, fins like a fish, other than the one on the back? Guess not. Oh, is it Dove Designs? Hey man, thanks. That waist is way too narrow though. Um, Here's the angle I put them on. Oh, hang on, that might be right. We'll see when we clean it up. Because his face needs some work, that's for sure. Should have just left it. Maybe we'll make him. Oof. Nope. We'll figure it out on the next stage. Otherwise, not hating on it. It's just me. Oops, forgot that they're not joined. Okay. So now. So as I said, I'll probably look at doing a superhero alphabet theme. So I sort of have something to figure out every day. And these will be sort of a warm up drawing before I do my work. So if you have suggestions for future letters, then let me know. So obviously we're on A for Aquaman. This is the first one. And as I said before, currently thinking B for Beast, maybe. Can swap around, doesn't have to be all DC or all Marvel. No tribalism. Will C be Captain America, maybe? I don't know. Whenever I'm trying to think of heroes starting with certain letters, I just get these big mind blanks. Z for Zemo, Z for Zatanna. We're a long way off from there yet. Right. The seahorse is looking there. Well, that's certainly an improvement. Don't hate it. Mm, not for now. All right. How long have we been going? Let's say something. I don't know. Because then I know if it's time again. 26 minutes. All right. Time to show my book again. Sorry, it's just part of the stream. It's part of the T's and C's. This is my debut graphic novel, Super Unicorn Princess, which is coming out in August. You can pre order it now. Um, I think you can get it, you can pre order the Kindle edition on Amazon.com because the physical one is not coming out in America until next year. Um, but if you're in other parts of the world, then the physical one will be out in August and you can pre order it now. Amazon.co.uk, Amazon.com.au, and wherever good books are sold, because it is a good book, if I do say so myself. And I figure someone has to. So weird drawing five fingers. I should just stick to four. It looks like I've done it with AI now. I'm so used to drawing four um, fingers in my books. Hmm. Okay, let's just keep going for now. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, check it out. I think it's fun. I don't know. I'm working on book two at the moment, which is what I did my live TikTok yesterday. I was doing one of the pages. And I think, as it should be, I guess, I think book two is going to be even better than book one. But book one is certainly fun. It's every book has got um, three separate adventures. So three bad guys. There's one sort of overarching bad guy. I guess my Lex Luthor, for lack of a better term, because I just watched that new trailer. Um, and sort of like the rogue science experiments she unleashes. What the hero actually ends up fighting. I'll work all this out in a minute. Oops. But if you do follow my stuff, I'm sure you've seen plenty of pictures of Super Unicorn Princess. Man, something's really off with this. The legs are too small, or the belt buckle's in the wrong place. I don't usually care that much about anatomy being accurate because of my style, but sometimes I work myself into a don't know what I was going to say now. Sometimes I overthink it, maybe. Hmm. Just going to try. It's probably where I've put the pants line. They're rather feminine legs. I'll have to go over it again and fix the lines. Let's just keep going. I don't know. You're right. One thing I might do is just increase my ugh, increase my brush size. Yep, I illustrated my books in Procreate. So I've actually got two books coming out this year. So I've got Super Unicorn Princess, which is the one I showed, and Chase Speedington, which I co-created with Franco, who did Tiny Titans and a lot of things he's done, but I still think that's probably the most famous. Um, Gosh, I feel like I've got his stuff up here, but I definitely do. Anyway, he wrote it and we co-created it, and I drew it, and I did that in Procreate as well. Super Unicorn Princess, I was 100% me. Um, so all the the roughing out, the inks, the colors, the lettering, speech bubbles, everything, 100% Procreate uh, from my end, which could sometimes be frustrating, but I figured it out mostly. Chase was easier because all I had to do was the drawing and coloring and stuff. I didn't have to do the lettering. Um, and I believe that they got Justin Birch, Ringo Award nominated Justin Birch, to letter Chase. And he actually lettered my other comic that I did with Niall O'Rourke, Squish and Squash, which was a 4 issue, um, like little mini series from Keen Spot Comics. Um, so that was just sort of a fluke, but I do like his work, so it worked out good. With book two of Super Unicorn Princess, I don't know if I'm lettering it or not. The publisher offered to um, to get a letterer for me, but the thing is, how insider baseball should I be getting? I don't know. Because I could show you. Because I can't write a script, I can't just sit here and write blocks of text. And because I want to make sure it's flowing, and especially because it's humorous, I want to make sure that the jokes and everything is flowing. Um, so, um, so for example, here's a page from book two. Um, I do need to go and do some more inking over it, but essentially that's that. But what it does is it actually starts out. This is how I do my scripting and my when I'm writing the stories. So I'm roughing it out and I'm doing pretty tight roughs to save me time later. Um, so for example, when I work with Franco on Chase, when he writes, he storyboards it out as well, but it's more stick figurey, I guess. Whereas I'm trying to put as much detail in the rough as I can. Um, both ways are fine. Because the good thing about the way Franco does it is when I go to draw it, I can interpret stuff how I want. But because this is just all me, um, it's gonna be what it looks like. So, anyway, about the letterer, um, I'm lettering it by typing instead of handwriting, even in my roughs, because I want to make sure it's gonna fit and I'm not going to cover up artwork and stuff. Whereas if I write it by hand, the sizing might not be correct. So, them offering to give me a letterer is cool, but I've basically lettered it anyway. The thing I hate doing the most is actually the speech bubbles. Um, Man, yeah, ask any questions you want. Like if I can answer them, I'll answer them. I'm not no, I'm not a pro. I mean it's my job, so yes, I am a professional cartoonist, I guess. But I don't know everything. No one does. But I'm happy to answer what I can, whether it's about my drawing process, whether it's about the publishing process. Um, if I know the answer, I will give the answer. I'm no gatekeeper. Sorry, just ignore my Starbucks, which has gone cold, but that's okay. It's hot chocolate. It works cold as well. It was hot chocolate. So yeah. Anyway, as I said, happy to share, happy to answer questions. I'm happy just to have a chat. Because one thing about working, about doing this job full time, is working from home is awesome. But there's not really anyone to talk to. So that's why these are good. Just want to try. I think I like that better. Again, nothing has to be accurate. I mean, to a point. It's a cartoon. This coming from the guy who spends way too much time obsessing over lines or line work in my books. But for a live stream, we're just doing this for fun. don't really know if he needs a saddle, but he has got reins. So I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe we'll just do something really simple. I've positioned it wrong anyway. Sorry if I'm leaning over like this, it's just because I'm reading comments. Probably easier to read it on the big screen anyway. Oh, you've self-published two children's books? Hang on, I've lost where I was up to now. Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I don't know if I've talked about my story. If you subscribe to my Substack newsletter, um, I did go into it probably a bit long-windedly in my last newsletter, but I don't know if I've talked about it on a video. Maybe I should make a video about that. I don't know. Um, but yeah, mine I feel was all right place, right time, right person seeing it. I'd given up on being a professional artist or doing it full time. Um, and yeah, I was just resigned to doing my day job and just doing fan art on social media and stuff, fun. Um, but like I like to say, you never know who is watching your stuff, and you never know who is taking note of your stuff. And you know, there might be a picture you post one day, and it's you've posted it just at the right time, and it's the right thing someone was looking for. And I feel that's what happened with me. Um, and so I think there was a lot of divine intervention or luck or fortune or whatever in it. Um, it was, yeah, definitely right place, right time, right person. Um, so, yeah, but it is definitely good to find your voice. I feel like my stuff has, um, what's the word? It's got a bit more refined as I've gone through this process. Um, I certainly think I learn stuff all the time, especially when you're making like Super Unicorn Princess is um, it's 192 pages, and there's no additional content in the back other than a bio. Um, so that's three stories at 80 something pages each. No, 60 something pages each. Maths. Um, so it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of drawing, and it's a lot of drawing the same characters. So one, make sure if you're going to do a graphic novel anyway, that it's a character you really want to draw a lot, which she wasn't. Um, but you know, again, as I've gone on and on and on, drawing her, it gets easier. Um, and um, yeah, you refine your style as you're going. So book two will hopefully look better than book one, and book three will hopefully look better than book two. So certainly consistency wise, anyway. Um, but yeah, sorry. And the other comment, what's your handle on socials? And also, what's the crown icon next to your name in the chat? I'm really like dumb to all this sort of stuff. So um anyway, sorry. Bunker Games, very cool. I've also self 9 books. What, like kids' books? Why didn't I know that? Dude, that's so cool. I was thinking of doing that at one point, not with Super Unicorn Princess, but like just to try it out. Which is not a thing now, obviously, because well, one, I don't have time, and two, there's sort of like part of my deal for Super Unicorn Princess, and the publisher I went with was first first right of refusal, but my agent's really good and managed to narrow that down to very specific things that I would have to show them first. So one, it would have to be a graphic novel. If I wrote a chapter book or a picture book or something like that, I wouldn't have to show my publisher first. I could shop it around to anyone, or she could rather. And uh, a specific age group as well, I believe. So it basically has to be a graphic novel for the same age group as Super Unicorn Princess to fit into their first right of refusal or first look deal. Um, but the cool thing was, I don't know, like hopefully this isn't like sounding like I'm patting myself on the back or whatever, but it's just what happened. Is that when my agent sent it out um, to publishers, I ended up getting it. Actually ended up going to auction. 3 publishers bid on it. I actually we sent it as a package with another graphic novel idea I had, and some publishers wanted just the other one, and some publishers wanted just Super Unicorn Princess, and some wanted both, and some I felt said they wanted both to get Super Unicorn Princess, maybe. Um, but anyway, I ended up having 3 publishers bidding for it, and they were all from the top 5, the big 5, I think they're called. So the 3 I had were, man, am I allowed to say? I, mm, I don't know. Anyway, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. Simon and Schuster was who I went with after having Zoom meetings with them. And the funny thing was, we sent out the pitch, right? And I didn't have a completed book. So with graphic novels, it's a little bit different. You can sell it on um, just the pitch. So I think I had maybe 10 pages, some of which ended up in the book. Um, and um, so I sent that out, and then the publishers who were interested and wanted to buy it all had to pitch me, which was funny. So I got all these pitch decks from these publishers saying what they want to do or what their plans are. Um, and it was really cool because 2 of them, um, so there's 4 pages in the book um, that explain her origin story, right? And those are written in prose instead of, I mean, it's still sequential pictures, but there's, yeah, it's in rhyme, right? So, um, it was really cool because 2 of the publishers, when they did their pitch back to me, did it in rhyme, which to me was like, oh, cool, you actually read it, which is awesome. Um, and that made me gravitate towards them. And uh, yeah, after I had the meeting, they were all good. Two were really cool, and I would have been happy with all 3. The one I was surprised I didn't go with, again, I won't mention names because I don't know if I'm supposed to, but was like a dream publisher that I've always wanted. Like if I ever made a book, it would be through them because um, it's just like such a name brand. And I was certain that's who I'd go with. But after having the meetings and talking and meeting people I'd be working with, and that's an important thing as well. You have to be comfortable with who you're going to be working with. I went with Simon and Schuster, and the funny thing was, not funny to my wife, but the funny thing was, it wasn't. the biggest of the offers in terms of money, but I liked the people and I liked the ideas they had for the book, and I liked their plans for how they wanted to market and publicize the book at that early stage. Um, and so that's, you've got to think of those things as well. Can't all just be money. Yeah, definitely send me the link. We're mutuals on to. Ah, okay, cool. Why not follow you on Instagram? Sorry, I'll rectify that. Oh yeah, I'm Amazon Prime too, so I should check that out. I should comment on people's videos. I usually only watch other people's Twitches if they're doing drops for Fortnite. Huh? Yeah, it's not always money, and that's a thing I had to really get over with my wife because I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad money at all. Like it was enough that I could quit my job and do some books at least for a while. Um, it's not like go off and get a yacht and retire money, but it's definitely money that I was comfortable enough to give up my day job to do this. And I couldn't do this, the amount of work and deadlines and scheduling. I couldn't do a day job and just do this at night. There's no way. I mean, I pull all nighters every now and then as it is. Um, so it, I really am happy with my editor. Like, she's awesome. Um, they are awesome. And they have really good input. The notes are really good. At first, with my first, when I did the first story for book one and I got some notes back, there was sort of some odd notes that I was going to push back on. And I did push back on one and I got what I wanted. Um, one, as soon as I drew it, I knew it was going to get next. It was just a panel and it was something easy I could change. The other one was, I don't know if I've told this story. Um, there was her catchphrase was originally "Holy sugar snaps," and I think that might be in the promotional video that went around. But then the note was there will be some people, and I believe it said especially America, which I get. Um, there'll be some people who don't like using the word holy. So it was like the first note was like, I understand that this is a reference to old Batman, like, holy hole in a donut, Batman. Um, and she goes, but kids won't understand that reference anyway, right? So I was like, okay, but the parents will. And the only person going to complain about using holy as in it's a blasphemous thing, if that's what was implied, they would be parents who are old enough to get the reference. So it just makes no sense to me. And anyway, so we were going to fight it. My agent was prepared to fight it, which is really cool. However, the editor suggested, what about something like sparkling sugar snaps, which I didn't like. And I was talking about it, and my daughter, who is 8, she said, what about shimmering sugar snaps? And I went, oh, hot damn, that's really good. Um, so I went back to my agent. I said, stand down because I actually like this idea better. And I get to incorporate something that my kid came up with. Um, so it worked out. It was a note that I disagreed with, but I found a way um, to have something I liked better, and it actually did improve. So anyway, um, dun, dun, dun. I haven't drawn for a while. Sorry, I'm just going to check these notes and then draw a bit. Um, start my day job. Yeah. Oh, you're a graphic designer though, so you are doing art, but I know it's very different. Um, yeah, yeah, that's the whole thing, the American thing. again, I mean, kids say holy moly and adults say holy S word. So it's not like I feel like in this case and in that context, people don't look at holy when it's used that way in the religious way because it's just become common vernacular. Like every kid says holy moly or holy smokes. Oh, that's probably too old, but you know what I mean. Like we were really just like this is dumb. Um, there were notes I was given on Chase Speedington, which I feel were super dumb, and I really regret not pushing back more. But that was before I had my agent, and that was before I knew publishing stuff and I had dealt with publishers. And the notes weren't from the publisher anyway. That it was before that um, step in the process. And I really regret giving into some of them. The book is still cool, and I still like what we've done a lot. And the changes, I guess, in the grand scheme don't matter. They don't change the book a lot. But looking back at those changes, they were really just, they didn't need to be changed. Like it, yeah, I don't know. But that one did come from Americans, and I'm not bashing Americans because, I'm not. But it did come from that side. When I talked to a British person about the changes that the American agent wanted made, they were like, no one here would care about that. Right. So for example, one of them was Chase Speedington. His adopted mother, for lack of a better term, is the Queen. Originally, it was the Queen of England, and it was Queen Elizabeth, who we called Liz in the book. Um, then she died, and we were contemplating changing it to Charles, but we wanted to keep it a mum. Um, and we were told you probably need to change that now, especially because she's died. When I talked to my agent, who's British, she was like, no, nobody in England would have cared. There are royalists and stuff, but they wouldn't have been up in arms about it, right? And it was sort of like a nice tribute. We weren't bashing her or anything. She's the queen of my country too. So, or was. So, yeah. Creative control is a thing. Like, I don't know. My hope, I guess, is that my books do well enough that I get more and more creative control. And in saying that, though, I'm going to be very clear. My publisher is never going to, or my editor has said, they're never, if there's something I'm really, really adamant about keeping or not changing that they suggest, that they're not necessarily going to make me, unless there's like a really, really good reason for it. And some of the notes I've had are good reasons, and I've gone, oh yeah, that totally makes sense, and I should have thought of that myself. So I'm not saying I don't have creative control because um, I haven't really had anything major pushed back um, that has changed things a lot. So um, again, and that came down to choosing the right people. Not saying the other publishers wouldn't have been the same. Um, like Chase, the publisher who did Chase, which is Paper Cuts. And we had a good editor there too. We had Adam Walenta, who does Punk Taco. He was great, but they really left us alone. Um, Adam was good after I'd finished, finding inconsistencies like, oh, you forgot to draw this on this page, but you've got it right on the next page and the preceding page. So I was like, oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. How did I miss that? And there were a few of those. So that sort of stuff is really good. And that's editing, right? But for the most part, um, we were just pretty much left alone to do it. Um, and again, those notes um, didn't come from the publisher, the ones I was talking about before. So yes, creative control is good. Also, what's good, and this isn't always possible, is keeping as much in terms of rights to your book. And again, I got pretty lucky. Keeping as much as you can is important for your finances. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's good. That whole looking different thing. I've got the other graphic novel I pitched along with Super Unicorn Princess, which is one I really, really want to do, and it's aimed at younger audiences than Super Unicorn Princess. It's sort of early reader graphic novel, reluctant reader graphic novel, I guess, and for both um, boys and girls. And the main theme, certainly of book one, is accepting people's differences, I guess. Not that I like to theme my books like with a hit you over the head moral or anything. It is how the story came about. And Super Unicorn Princess Book One also has a sort of lesson. Um, there's a nice message in it that came organically as I was writing, and it just seemed to work, and it was great. Um, the minimum page count is also a thing. Yep. So Chase Speedington is only 128 pages, I think. Yeah, something around there. And Super Unicorn Princess was like 192. And I've drawn both of those books in the year I've been off since quitting my day job, so it's been a lot of work. Rights and trademarks policies are between the UK and the US. One of the first things I do. Yeah, so I didn't bother with any of that. Not bother. You should do that, especially when you're self-publishing. But obviously, when you do it through a publisher, they will copyright it. So I hold the copyright. So all the publisher has is the publishing rights, and all they have in this case is the English language publishing rights. So that's what I'm talking about. Is like if you've got a good agent um, who will fight for you, and actually it was my agent who came up with most of the stuff because I didn't know. This is my first big sort of book deal, my first any book deal. Um, but we managed to get um, them to purchase the English language rights, so I kept all the foreign rights. And subsequently, we've sold to four different languages. So we're going to have it come out in October in Spanish language and Greek, which I'm really excited about, and in November Dutch, which I'm excited about because I used to live in Holland, and so it's sort of like a full circle. It'd be cool if Chase was in Dutch because I created Chase when I lived in Holland, so that'd be really full circle. Um, and we just sold Portuguese. So because I own those foreign language rights, that's essentially free money because you've already done the work and they translate it. So that's cool. And we kept the media rights, so film and TV. So if the book does well and someone wants to turn it into a cartoon or a movie or whatever, toys, I own all those rights as well. Yeah, Greek's really interesting because it's the one language so far I've sold that isn't using the same alphabet, and I can't wait to see it. I'll never be able to read it, and I don't care. Um, it's going to look cool on the shelf, right? So, yeah, your book's having a good message without being preachy is the balance, right? Um, I never go in with a message in mind, if that makes sense. But if one organically manifests, then cool, and I'll roll with it. The one that I'm hoping to sell next. Um, came. It's sort of got two messages. The other message is sort of what created the book, but the accept people's differences is sort of the driving force that starts the story, I guess. It brings the characters together and sets them on their way to the other lesson. Yeah, I don't know. Um, anyway, I should have just done a just chatting, um, which I'm happy to do, but I know you guys are tuning in for artwork. So, artwork I shall do. I'm not going to do stirrups or anything. I feel like he really doesn't need that saddle thing. Doesn't even look like he's sitting on it properly. I don't know. It's also weird that he doesn't have a boot line from the pictures I was looking up anyway. I think S will have to be Squirrel Girl too. She's my go-to. If I got to draw, if I got to draw a kids book for Marvel and I got to choose the character, it would very probably be Squirrel Girl that I'd want to do. If it was DC, it would probably be my own take on Streaky the Super Cat. I have an idea in mind, but I don't know people at DC to pitch to, do I? I know people who know people. Maybe I should team up. Um, maybe I should talk to someone about that. I'd really like to do it. Um, and you can see my take on Streaky on my Instagram. But I have a sort of story as well. Oh, too big. Right. Also, if I'm talking too much, please let me know. Squirrel Girl is cool. That is a true fact. Yep, Scotty Young's take on Marvel Heroes is good too. When I first started online, I don't even want to say how many years ago, I only drew um, chibi, super deformed, kawaii, whatever you want to call it, versions of stuff. Um, and that's what got me a following originally. They're very bad. Don't go and look for them. Um, and then when Scotty Young first came out and he was doing his sort of graffiti style, but he wasn't doing the mini stuff yet. I was a fan from like when he did Human Torch, Spider Clan, all of that. Then when he started doing this stuff, I was like, oh man, that's the sort of stuff I was doing. But who am I? No one. And his stuff was so awesome and so funny too, and so like just the visual jokes he thinks of. Great, great stuff. So I've been a fan of him for a long time. And also Phantom. I did some Phantom. Well, you obviously know I did some Phantom, but in that sort of mini style. I don't know if I'd do Phantom in this style because you do have to draw horses and wolves and stuff. If it's in that mini style, I can get away with more. But look, Paper Cuts is doing Chase Speedington. Paper Cuts did Flash Gordon, and they did it in that. Um, well, they did both. They did a proper. They did a comic series geared towards an older audience, and they did a kids one with Art Baltazar and um, and Franco, I believe. Um, and obviously, the Phantom and Flash Gordon The rights are owned by the same people, King Syndicate, I believe it is. So, maybe I can get in somewhere. But those pictures I drew would need a lot of tweaking. I would change the style a bit. Um, Probably make it look more like Chase looks in that book, if I ever got that opportunity. But yeah, it would be Superman. Working on the Phantom, that's like that. Okay, I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong. Predates Batman. Um, and that's just like an iconic, legendary IP you'd be working on. What a cool thing that'd be. Wow, that's a combo. Akira Toriyama and Scotty. Man, I've always wanted to get into Dragon Ball, and I've tried it a couple of times. I really need to stick with something. Um, I was trying to find an anime. Like, I'm not a big anime fan. Like, I like um, movie stuff more, like the Miyazaki stuff, of course, because I have to be cliche. Um, what was I saying? But and when I was a teenager back in the day, I did like a lot more anime stuff, but it was movie stuff. Project Echo, Ghost in the Shell. Um, Gosh, there's another obvious one I'm trying to remember. But the TV shows when they started coming out over here, like I guess it started with Pokemon, and that was cool, but I never stuck with it. Then Digimon came, and that was pretty cool, but I didn't stick with it. And then Yu-Gi-Oh, and then all these other ones, and I wasn't digging the animation style because of how anime worked, like TV anime, I guess. I don't want to offend people. You know how it's very cost-cutting animation, I guess. A lot of still frames and stuff. And I just couldn't get into stuff. But now I'm thinking I really need to try and get into something. Uh, I was looking at Dragon Ball. I was looking at One Piece, and I was looking at something else. The big one, when I was in high school, the two I did stick with the most were Sailor Moon and Samurai Pizza Cats, which I'm sure counts. I'm sure it's actually Japanese, so it counts. Um, those were two shows I did watch a lot. Dragon Ball, I do want to try, and One Piece, I do want to try. Oh, I mean, Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's not Japanese; it's American, but I've watched some, but not a lot, and I need to watch that. I have a sticking to stuff problem, I guess, but that's good DNA to have. When I'm finished the stream, I will find you on Instagram and follow you. Oh, I'm on the wrong. Huh, that's interesting. Usually my default color palette is Super Unicorn Princess's one, but I'm on Chase Speedington's one at the moment. So yeah, if I don't know if you guys, what do you use to draw? Um, I think Pokemon must be a lot of people's gateway in Dragon Ball. Um, Man, I like a lot of these things in theory, like from a character design point. Like I like Pokemon for that, and I like the designs on Dragon Ball. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I did buy oh cheapest I can't even reach. Uh, I did buy this because I was trying to get into it. Um, and I'm going to give that a read at some point. It's quite massive because it's like the first three volumes. Um, but yeah, I will try. I did watch the first episode of Dragon Ball, and I did watch. The problem with Dragon Ball and ah, dang it, there's another one. I can't remember which one it is. But there's just Naruto. There's multiple series. You got to make sure you start the right one. I did get the right Dragon Ball, so I should work through it. Um, One Piece is there two, I think. But anyway, I've got the right one to start at the start. Um, so I don't know. I also there's other American cartoons I want to go back and watch all the way from the beginning again, like Adventure Time and Steven Universe and um, the regular show, Bob's Burgers. I actually think I'm going to start that again from the start because I forgot where I got up to and then I lapsed. Um, and because this weekend Bob's Burgers is coming to Fortnite, which is awesome. Well, at least Bob is. And Cleveland from Family Guy, that one I'm definitely buying that skin. So Bunker Games, if we have a game, be prepared. Um, and Hank Hill from King of the Hill is coming as well. It's a Father's Day special. It's not Father's Day in New Zealand, but it is in the Epic shop because it is in America. Oh, really? I thought One Piece was shorter than those other ones. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll just watch those live action versions. I want to change my color palette. Just gonna check. This is cool, man. This is exactly what I want. I want to be able to just chat with people while I'm working. Not that I'm working at the moment. I will be working soon. I should just be like those people on TikTok who leave the live stream going. People can come in and out. Where's my YouTube gone? That's weird. Ah, just want to make sure it's still working. Anyway, I brought it up before, but have you guys watched the new Superman trailer? Holy moly. I'm so looking forward to that movie. Next week, I'm going to go and see Mission Impossible because um, that is my favorite movie franchise. I don't count the MCU because I sort of break that down into sub franchises. The Captain America one being the best one, um, or and the Avengers, I guess. But Captain America is solid. Every single movie has been good. I even like Brave New World, but certainly the original trilogy is the best. Guardians is alright. I don't really like number two as much, but one and three are good. Thor one and three, maybe. Ant-Man one and two. I'm trying to think what the other ones were. I like Black Widow. I really like Thunderbolts. Shang-Chi was good. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on an MCU thing. Yeah, Mission Impossible. Superman and Fantastic Four, I'm really looking forward to. I mean, this Superman has to be better than Man of Steel. Gosh, I came out of that cinema, I've said it before. One of two times that I've gone to the cinema and watched a movie and come out angry, like really actually angry, um, was Man of Steel and the movie I disown and don't like to acknowledge the existence of, which is Die Hard 5. Because Die Hard is a very good franchise as well. One, two, three, four, all good. 5 can just. Oh, I disavow all knowledge of that movie. Yeah, I'm a Marvel guy too. Although the one comic company of the big two that I worked for was DC. I did a 4-page um, story in Dead Man Tell the Spooky Tales, which Franco wrote, and he got me in. I still had to pass muster with the art directors or whatever, but I definitely have the worst 4 pages in that book. Um, but hey, I've got a DC credit, right? I got a Christmas greetings card in my email that year, so it all counts. Um, I never look at it though because I know it's bad. My pages, not the book. Um, but such is life. I still have a DC credit, and that's the thing, like if this all crashes and burns and I have to go back and get a day job, on my shelf will still sit a book that I made. That can't be taken away. What color are we going to do the seahorse? That is a question. Oh, my follower count jumped up on YouTube, even though nobody's really watching. That's crazy. Um, oh, Man of Steel was so bad. Like Henry Cavill, I really liked as Superman. He looks the part. There's no denying. And um, I don't even hate him as Superman. It was just badly written Superman. I got angry as soon as Kevin Costner's Pa Kent said something along the lines of maybe sometimes you can't save them. It's like, no, he's Superman. Get real. And I didn't like the fact that, and this is probably just me being old school, I didn't like the fact that Lois, I'm trying to think back, I've mentally repressed that movie. I think she knew he was Superman already. I don't like that. I know that Lois is going to know that in this new one, but whatever. Henry, uh, once he turns 91, I don't know. It was a cool thing in Deadpool Wolverine. Oh hey Danny, Pink. Yes, I was actually thinking Pink maybe. Um, it was cool. The cameo, very cool. Um, do you know who my pick is for Wolverine? If it was up to me, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. Um, he's been my pick for ages. So I don't know. He's young enough that he can do it for a long time still. Not that Henry Cavill is super old. Um, yeah, go and Google some pictures of Aaron Paul. There's some where he looks a bit rough, probably as Jesse from Breaking Bad. Um, and I can see it, man. I can see it. I just wish other people would see it and there'd be some sort of drive online or something. I'm going to try pink. Danny said pink. I'm going to try pink for the seahorse. Um, Aaron Paul. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner is peak, peak casting. When he was, if he hadn't aged out of it, well, I don't know. It looks like they're going older anyway for Hal Jordan, but he was always my pick for Hal Jordan. Now they've got, is it? I think it's Kyle Chandler, um, who's not young either. So I guess Fillion could have still worked. Depends what sort of Hal Jordan you're going for, I guess. But Fillion was my pick. My pick for Wonder Woman was oh, the name's escaping me. Um, the woman who played Deja Flores in John Carter, the Disney John Carter movie. she was my pick for Wonder Woman, aged out now. And I didn't hate Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman, especially the first one. The first one is a great movie. Um, and I liked her as Wonder Woman, especially because they let her have an accent. It wasn't Greek, but it also wasn't American. Um, so I don't know. I don't know who should be the new Wonder Woman. As long as it's not stunt casting like Sydney Sweeney or someone. Millie Alcock wasn't my first choice for Supergirl, but I'll give it a go. Rachel Brosnahan was definitely my choice for Lois Lane. When it got down to the top four and she was one of them, I was like, that is who you have to pick. None of the others are correct. And I'm so glad James Gunn went with her. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is fantastic, and she just looks like Lois Lane. So good. Um, Jeremy Allen White was being eyed for Wolverine. I saw that as well. Um, yes, but every time I watch him in something, he's like the reserved, laid back guy, like in The Bear and The Iron Claw. You need to see some rage. I guess there is some in The Bear. Um, he's pretty short. Are we talking about Aaron Paul? Yeah. I mean, man, this is the whole thing, right? Like, people went on about it, but then I was going to say Henry Cavill. Hugh Jackman has become so beloved in the role, no one cares anymore. Um, the opposite happened with Jack Reacher. I liked the first Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise. The second one was dreadful, but the first one I didn't care. But the Jack Reacher TV show with Aquaman from Smallville, but built like a tank, that is that is peak. Um, so yeah, I think Aaron Paul is not overly tall. Um, Nathan Fillion was a lot of people's pick for Nathan Drake. Yes, 100%, but he's aged out of that role now. Tom Holland was not the right pick. I like Tom Holland, but he was not the right pick. Nathan Fillion, I think by the time they made that movie, he was aged out. Mark Wahlberg was terrible casting in that movie as well. Um, James Gunn does seem to be doing some great stuff so far. There's a few things in that trailer that made me go, huh? But I'm going to wait until I see it in context because more people should do that. Um, I still don't know if I it was funny because it's Guy Gardner, but I still don't know if I agree with um I don't know if you saw, but in the trailer when he's walking past all the tanks and he's lifting them up with his Green Lantern energy and it's a hand doing the middle finger. Yeah, I don't know. Is that funny or is it a cheap a cheap pop as they would say in wrestling? I don't know. Am I just getting old? Probably. I mean, it still gave me a chuckle, but really it's like I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, man. The Sawyer thicker, shiny. Um, Ultraman. Hmm. That would be funny. How funny would that be, man? Like, hang on. Are we talking about? Isn't there one in Marvel and DC? Isn't there one in the what are they called? The Crime Syndicate, the bad jail. Hey, um, but isn't there one in the what's the Marvel JLA ripoff? Um, that was supposed to be a JLA ripoff, but it was more intense. Gosh, what is that book? Wasn't that also an Ultraman? I don't know. So you're talking about the DC one? I was 100% inappropriate for kids. I wouldn't let my kids watch that. Plus, it's also bad. I wouldn't let them watch it just for the standard it's at, except for Wonder Woman. Um, if it's Ultraman, If it's Ultraman DC, I would say no, I don't want Henry Cavill. If it's Ultraman Marvel, unless I'm wrong and that is not the name of the character, that would be funny. Whatever that character's called in Marvel, because he is supposed to be like a take on Superman. That would be hilarious casting. Kevin Feige should get on that. Um, I just want to see more Yelena Belova. Man, Thunderbolts was good. I really like that movie. I really like Florence Pugh in that role. She does that accent too without breaking, man. And she's just so funny in that role. Her timing is good. I loved her in Black Widow. And David Harbour is Red Guardian, and the two of them together. Um, Bucky, always a fan of Bucky. Winter Soldier's still my favorite MCU movie. Um, Sentry was good. I like Julia Louis Dreyfus in general. Um, I'm forgetting someone in that cast. Oh, Ghost from Ant-Man 2. Someone else I'm still missing. Sentry. Anyway. Oh yeah, great Red Guardian. Man, so good. I don't know if we could do a whole movie with him, but maybe a buddy movie with him and Black Widow, which I guess Thunderbolts was. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say Taskmaster, and I didn't want to go spoilery, and I was like, wasted. They finally fixed her mask. Wasted. I, it was. I don't know. Could have done so much. Maybe they'll do a Taskmaster 2, like and it'll be a boy one. Maybe I don't know. Um, yeah. I wonder what sort of payday Olga Korolenko got for Thunderbolts. Inquiring minds want to know. Mine certainly does. It's probably something that can be easily Googled. Yeah, they can't just waste Taskmaster. I don't know, maybe it's just too complicated to put on screen. I don't know. If you can explain it in a comic, you can explain it in a movie. Um, yeah, I don't know. Looking forward to Fantastic Four. The only thing I didn't agree with was Pedro Pascal, and it's only because he's in everything already. And it's going to get ranty, but John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. It was right there. They used John Krasinski, although as a multiversal read, which I also don't get because, like, in Multiverse of Madness, which I like, um, all the Doctor Strangers looked like Benedict Cumberbatch. So why do all the reads look different? And I guess, why the Professor X is. Dude, Professor X, Bryan Cranston, someone said? Yeah. Especially if you're going to have Aaron Paul as Wolverine. Dude, we just tied it together. Get Kevin Feige on the phone. Man, Doctor Strange 3 to resolve some incursion. Yep. Well, you've got to explain Charlize Theron too. Man, and I want Young Avengers because I'm just going to say it. Hawkeye was the most fun of all the Marvel TV shows. Haley Steinfeld was great as Kate Bishop, and she was so good. Um, her and Clint together. I know if there's a season two, it's not going to be Clint, and I totally get why Jeremy Renner would turn it down for the reasons he stated. Um, but we need more of her. So Young Avengers, I will be looking forward to her, America Chavez, and the like. And I want Wanda back because she was one of my faves. Yeah, the Pedro thing. But do we really need him in everything, man? Like, oh, we're gonna get Pedro fatigue. He's fine and all, but he's, do I just say he's not my Reed Richards? Um, John Krasinski, man, with his real life wife, would have been awesome. Maybe he didn't want to do it. I don't know. He's doing cool stuff. Quiet Place movies are awesome. I'm not a horror person. Those movies are cool. Okay, maybe this picture doesn't completely suck. So that's not a fishing comment to get comments. I wasn't incredibly happy with it at the beginning, but could be right. Let's cheat and go. Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you before. Dev Designs. What do you draw in? Do you draw in Procreate or Clip Studio or Photoshop? I always used to use Photoshop when I had a Wacom, but that thing I could just never figure out properly. And once I could get Procreate and an iPad Pro, it just seemed easier. Draw straight on the screen. Well, you can do that with a Wacom, obviously. But it's quite a simple user interface. So, oh, you do use, Danny, you use Procreate. Cool. Isaiah Bradley's grandson, yeah, is Patriot, the one from Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show. Totally. Oh, you Procreate as well. I used to do Photoshop all the time. The one I can't figure out, and everybody seems to use, is Clip Studio. I've got it on my iPad, and I was going to learn to use it because I think a lot of people use it, especially for lettering comics. And it's got to be easier than doing it in Procreate. Um, but I opened it up and it was like, oh man, it's like Photoshop flashbacks. There's too many buttons, and now I'm gonna have to sit here and figure it all out. I got no time. So stick with what I know, I guess. Procreate does the job, man. Again, my book's coming out. I know it's the same people watching. 192 pages, all Procreate, from rough drawing to lettering, the whole kit and caboodle, as it were. So Procreate does the job, man. I was like, when I was making it, I was like, gosh, I hope this all translates onto the printed page properly. Because I know that CMYK was a sort of a new addition to Procreate, and I didn't know if it was real. Um, so I was still worried because, man, imagine spending all those months, all those hours making a book and thinking it looks a certain way, and then receiving the finished product and it not looking that way. I was I did Squish and Squash in Procreate though as well, and that did look essentially like what I'd done in Procreate. So I was still a bit nervous, but man, there are certain things art-wise that I still am picky about in this book that I don't like, but the general public and certainly kids won't pick up on those same things, right? And that's took me the longest time to get over that hurdle of like the the people I think will pick up on certain things, and so I get really pedantic about other would be the people who follow me on social media, which is a completely different audience than who's going to be primarily anyway buying the book, right? My followers are not kids aged 7 to 10 or 7 to 11 or whatever. Um, they're not the target demo. And it took me so long mentally to come to grips with that um, and change my mindset. Forgot where I was going with that. Oh, yeah. because there was some art in it I don't like and I know could be better, or know I made a mistake in. But a 7-year-old's not going to care. And that's not to say I skimp out on stuff because it's for kids. Certainly not. I just want them to have a fun experience when they're reading the book. I want them to connect with my characters. I want them to want more books. And I want them to want a cartoon or a movie. And toys. I want toys. I want toys. Um, I was going to try Adobe Fresco because I think that was free, but I'm sort of anti Adobe, as a lot of people are now, because of the whole AI thing. Um, yeah, don't you use Photoshop for your graphic design stuff? Because surely that's better than Procreate for that, because you have to do vector stuff and all that. I got Procreate Dreams, but until they incorporate auto shapes, by that I mean like this, where it fixes your shape or does a straight line, or, you know, perfects it. Until they do that in Dreams, no, it's not for me. And the Procreate guy on Twitter, um, tweeted out, because I'm not saying X, tweeted out that version 2 of Procreate Dreams is coming out. And so people are asking about features, and I said, what about auto shapes? And he did reply, but he said, probably in a future update after version 2 launches. I was like, dude, that should be a version 2 day one thing. Um, and I really want to learn to use it. And I did. I don't know if you guys have seen, there was a little Super Unicorn Princess animation I'd made that was really rough. And I made it it was made for an internal um, showcase at the publisher. So I didn't really care if it looked a bit average because I didn't know what I was doing. Um, then it ended up being used for like a librarian and bookseller summit. Then it ended up being used as part of the cover reveal online. And I was like, everyone wasn't supposed to see this. I would have taken more time and learnt more stuff. But yeah, I think all artists get too pedantic over their own work. And I certainly think a lot of artists don't like their own work. Like there's a lot of stuff I don't go back and look at. I don't, I like Squish and Squash the book. I think it's fun, especially for kids, but I don't go back and look at it. Dead Men Tell the Spooky Tales. I don't go back and look at. Um, I did find myself spending more time looking and stopping and reading some pages of Super Unicorn Princess. Even though I do find things where I'm like, oh, why did I draw it like that? But it's all, again, like what I said before, it's all lessons and learnings you take into book two. So book two will improve, and book three will improve more, and so on. Um, no one can stop learning, man. That is not the right color. And I also know there are way more efficient ways to do certain things in Procreate than the way I do them, but I do them the way I know, and that's fine. Like I know you can flood fill, like I used to always rely on in Photoshop, um, by using the black lines as a reference layer above. But I always have little gaps where it's going to leak through, and some of them don't look like gaps, but they're like 1 pixel or less. Can't be less, I guess. Um, and it sneaks through, which is why I do it where when I start the color layer, I do an outline of color around the black and then flood fill it. Okay, all right, look at that. I am gonna do some background. And for those who have stuck here this long, I know time is precious and I do appreciate it. Oh, what am I doing? very much appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sometimes I'll literally not with that pen, but color in like this. But usually I'll do the shape and then flood fill. Just depends what I'm doing. Color like a coloring book always, yep. There's nothing wrong with that. I would suggest not using like I have a whole lot of pens that I've bought, or brushes that I've bought, right? For certain things like shapes, for backgrounds, or Kirby Crackle, or stars, or whatever. Um, but for the actual drawing, and that includes for my book, I always come back to using some standard Procreate brushes, technical pen, which I have changed some settings on. The stabilization is at max and the rest is at zero. Um, and that's for my line work. And then Studio Pen, because it, see, like, it does, I don't know what the name of it, see how that is just, it draws like that, whereas the technical pen sort of flings, I don't know what the word is. Um, so those are really the two pens I use, unless I need something specific, like even stars, I sort of just use dots now. Kirby Crackle and certain things, if I'm being lazy, I guess. Lazy brushes. I tried getting speech bubble brushes, I just couldn't get them to work properly. I do have some sound effects brushes which have come in handy. The Monero ones are good. Um, so, you know, you can do stuff like that. And also these ones, which is a bit limited. There's some obvious sound effects I haven't included, but I have used a couple of these. I think I've even used the POW. Um, Sometimes I just use those sort of stamps instead of doing lettering. I did some of those in Chase, even though it wasn't the letterer, because of how I structured the picture. I just wanted to make sure it was a certain way, so I just put it in myself. Sure, that annoyed some people. Okay, moving on. Check the chat. Yes, the fact that Procreate can export as a um, PSD, Photoshop file, is great. Oh, see, I want to try After Effects because I really want to do animated stuff with Super Unicorn Princess, but I don't want to pay Adobe the amount of money they're asking for. I was going to use Character Animator because it has the motion capture thing, so I could do like simple little things for my YouTube videos, but you can only get it in the package app where you have to buy all the creative ones, and I'm not paying the amount of money they're asking for that. Um, so I don't know. I didn't know After Effects could actually do animation, but again, I think you can buy that one singly, individually, singly. Um, I don't know. I waste money on a lot of things. Um, did you see my reel on Instagram? What I wasted money on the other day? Should I go and get it? I'll go and get it. Hang on. And keeping in mind, I'm not Catholic or anything, but when Topps released the Pope's rookie card, how could I say no? Like it's proper. It's like a proper trading card from Topps now. Um, I missed out on the Joe Hendry WrestleMania card. I wasn't going to miss out on the Pope rookie card. So, and I'm not Catholic, but it's one of those things. Was like, is it a waste of money? Of course it is, but I do not regret it. You've got to treat yourself and have some fun sometimes, man. I probably do that too much. That's why I've got uh, all these toys up here and toys down here, which you can't really see. Look, there's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That's going to just sound show-offy now. Just want to try something. This is one of those situations where no, actually, it's a Procreate brush. Hang on, or is it not? Hmm. No, that's not true. There was a. I've got to start favoriting brushes so I know where to find stuff. There it is. Oh man, is that white? Golly. Okay. Oh, maybe it's because it's so big. Hang on. No, it's still not working. Okay, well, that's not going to work like I wanted, so we're just going to do it another way. We're going to go more cartoony. Animating After Effects is really just using motion graphics to make a character. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I just want to have a, like a static image of Super Unicorn Princess or something come up in the corner and maybe move just a little bit, um, and then swap to the next static image. So it's like a really bad animation. I don't know if that makes sense. Um, Duplicated. If you mean the water thing, it used to work really well though. Maybe it's just the colors. I don't know. Oh, look at you, tricky dude. Okay, we'll take it back big. Not that big. Thank you for the tip. Gonna go one more because I can always one more because I can always change the opacity anyway. Yeah, it's still stretching it out too much. Hang on. I don't know if it's yeah. I mean, yes, it worked. You got delete, man. Um, you did what I wanted, which is great, and I'll remember that for next time. But I don't think it's working for this picture. So I will just go cartoony instead. Now I know there's no reason to have bubbles, but I always feel like you have to put bubbles when you've drawn water. Um, I always draw seaweed, which makes no sense because is he sitting on the bottom of the ocean on a seahorse? Probably not. But no one ever questions it because it's in the water. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about. Cool, that's a lot of time using After Effects. But again, it's whether I want to pay for it. I have to go and check what the price is. Plus, I'm in New Zealand, so nothing's cheap when you convert it from US dollars. Good when I get paid, not good when I'm trying to buy stuff. It's like I want to buy WWE action figures, and the range over here is limited. Um, on Amazon Australia, they're just stupid prices and also limited. and all the good ones are in America. But Amazon.com hiked up their shipping to New Zealand so much that I got I wanted a CM Punk action figure, and once I converted it all with the shipping and everything, it was like in New Zealand dollars, it was like $80 or something. That's stupid. Like I hate paying $40 for an Elite figure, and I paid like $80 for that. And they were shipping it with something I bought for my son. So you'd think the shipping would have, you know, come down, but no. Anyway, that's silly things to worry about, I guess. I need to find a way to get stuff from America cheaper. I will say I've got a friend who has been very patient, who's had a box at his house in Oklahoma for me, which I've just been adding more and more stuff to over about 2 years. It's going to be incredibly expensive to ship now because of how heavy it's going to be. But in theory, it was good at the beginning. It was a way to cut down on some of those shipping costs. Oh, silly. Um, but you know what's in it? The DC Style Guide. And I can't wait to get that. Oh, yeah, it's clipping on the wrong layer. And thanks for the help offer too. Um, yeah, I'm going to look into what the price is. And I don't know. Just want to do something. I mean, I studied animation for a year until I got bored and dropped out, which I regret because my friends at animation school went on to start their own company and they do heaps of really cool stuff now. And there was a long time where I was like, that could have been me, thinking highly of myself. But um, you know, things happen for a reason, and now I get to make cool books. I don't know if I've mentioned, but my book's coming out in August. Um, and another one in November, which is the Chase Beddington one. Okay, I think I'm going to do one more thing. You guys have stuck with me for a long time, and I appreciate it. Plus, my kids have probably just finished school and will be home soon. And I'm assuming, because I'm still sitting here talking to you guys, that I'm not on pickup duty today. Just do. All right. Like maybe that's unbalanced the picture a bit. I don't know. Okay, so final step. And you're like, what? You're not finished? Shipping has got extremely ridiculous. Cool books that could one day be cool cartoons. That is the dream. Oh, thanks, man. When there's people in here to chat to and I'm not just sitting here with no one to talk to, it's good. And if people ask questions, like I said, I am no gatekeeper and I don't know everything, but if I do know something, I'm more than willing to help or answer or whatever. I was going to stream some Fortnite. Might do that when it's night time in New Zealand. I'll probably do an all-nighter tonight anyway. So I'll have a Fortnite break, at least Rocket Racing, if not actual Fortnite. I often play with bunker games. He puts up with me. Am I bad playing? I am very mid. Although I had a game just before I came on and I came fifth or sixth, which isn't too bad, I guess. But I do like Lego Fortnite too. Waiting for an update. Need something new in there though. Anyway, this is not what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be doing something else. Hang on. Um, First I'm just gonna put a little bit of stuff people will never notice. And we'll go back to what I was gonna do. It's gonna test the it's gonna be too thick. Let's see. It could be about right. So we still need to come up with a B superhero, superhero that begins with B, not a B superhero. Because this is our A superhero, and I figure my live streams are going to be superhero alphabet. I also want to do more how-to videos for kids, so I need to figure out what to draw on those. Simple stuff, because I noticed my kids watch. It's probably bad to say they watch quite a lot of YouTube, um, but my daughters like to watch how to draw stuff, and they like to follow along. So I want to make some of those videos myself. Just got to figure out what to draw on them. But anyway, we need a we need an alphabet of superheroes. So any suggestions on B, which I may live stream tomorrow, um, and C and D and all the rest. I don't know how confident I am doing female ones, and they'll certainly be in a super unicorn princess style, and probably all the male ones will be from now on as well. I'm not like planning to put them all together in a big um, what do you call it? When you put it all together. Um, I'm not trying to do one of those, so they don't all have to match up or anything. I was just going to do chibi ones, mini ones, baby versions. Should have. We would have been finished hours ago. My idea was to do drawing streams in the day and gaming streams at night, my day, is what I'm talking about. So this is my day now. Um, and the games were actually going to just be, I was just going to cycle through Lego games because I love those Lego games. So last night I did my first one, and it was Lego Indiana Jones, the original adventures. So I was doing Raiders of the Lost Ark. Still am. I just did one stage for the first video, and then I might do stage 2 tonight. So maybe I'll just stream Lego games and I'll just play Fortnite off stream. Especially love the old Lego games before they started using voice actors and they had to rely on visual gags because they were so creative. There were some great jokes in there. I think they peaked at Lego Marvel Superheroes 1. So good. But the stages are so long. And Marvel Superheroes 2, the Lego one, gosh. Any superheroes doesn't have to be DC or Marvel or whatever. Oh, Blue Beetle, duh. The original Ted Cord, you mean? Or do you mean the Jaime one? The Lego games are great, man. Fortnite on Switch 2 is so smooth. Oh, nice. I've only got a Switch Lite. I just hear my kids come home. Oh, man. I mean, it's good. I like my kids. It's just I'm not finished my stream. Darn, they are home. And by that I mean, yay, they're home. Um, my son, his first stop is always my office. My door is locked, so you might hear a rattle in a minute. Don't know why I choose to draw such curvy things because it's not always um, easy in Procreate. This one's coming out all right though. It's letting me do what I actually want. So yeah, we'll hear a jiggle on the door in a minute, but we're nearly finished. So the new Blue Beetle, oh, the hard one, you mean? The hard one to draw. You know what he was cool in? The Jaime one? Oh, actually, I that's one DC movie I did like. I did like the Blue Beetle movie. I like the dude from Cobra Kai. What was I going to say? Yeah, the Jaime Blue Beetle was cool in Batman Brave and the Bold. That was a great cartoon. I used to do a podcast and I got to interview James Tucker, who was the producer and creator of that show. He used to work on Batman the Animated Series and a whole bunch of stuff. Um, that was a cool conversation. But Brave and the Bold, I feel, is so underappreciated. I think it's getting more appreciation now than it did at the time. I think the problem was it came after the animated series and the Batman, the one that followed after that, and it was so different from those, which it needed to be. But I don't think people were quite ready for it. But the people who did, man, they got something good. Such a good show. Yeah, I guess he is sort of like a Spider-Man type character without all the baggage. Well, without as much baggage. Okay, I could attempt that Blue Beetle. I'm not saying it's going to work because, yeah, complicated. I love like seeing when artists for DC and stuff. Oh, we've redesigned the character starting an issue, blah, blah, blah. Here's a sneak peek of the new design. You're like, wow, that's really cool. And you are such expletive deleted because no other artist is going to want to have to draw that all the time. Um, it's always fun times. But okay, let's say B is for Blue Beetle. I don't want to get into a habit of people thinking this is going to be a DC stream though. We'll mix it up. I don't know if I want C to be Captain America. That's probably too easy. I guess B could have been Black Widow. Also, there's other comic companies, I guess. S for Scott Pilgrim. Does that count? He's sort of a superhero. One I might do that nobody will know of. Well, some people, the people who know. I'll show you in a minute. And I highly recommend you go and buy the book, especially if you like wrestling. There's a few books in the series. The Legend of La Mariposa, the butterfly, um, is this book by James Lawrence. It's fantastic. It is super fun. Super fun. That's my recommendation for the stream. Super, super fun. The art is great. Um, it's she's a luchadora. Um, it's a cool quest book, and yeah, it's just super fun. I got the book that comes after this. I got digitally because the shipping was getting ridiculous, and I feel bad for creators who make their own books and then they try and undersell the shipping and then they won't let you pay more and all that sort of stuff. Plus, the shipping at the time I got this was horrendously long. Um, so I got the next one digitally and it was really good as well, but it was shorter than this. And I think there's a third one, if not even a fourth. But yeah, La Mariposa by James Lawrence. Super cool. So maybe I'll do her for L because she's sort of a superhero. Maybe we just say hero and not super. Okay, anyway, I digress again. I digress a lot. Um, I don't know. I think we can call that done pretty much, eh? It's probably all right to even post on my social media. Last but not least, I need to make this into a stamp. I say this every time, but I've got out of the habit of signing stuff like this because on my books I don't like sign the cover image or anything. There you go. Um, just wondering how long that trident would be. Might just let it peek out the bottom a little bit. I'm just drawing through because I don't want to do a Rob Liefeld. That's mean. Um, and whoops, and have it coming here and then somewhere over here. That was a cheap shot, especially because I'm never going to be as famous as that guy, and I'm never going to make as much money as that guy did in the boom period. So good on him for that. He did still draw that infamous Captain America picture, though. You know the one I'm talking about. If you don't, you should totally Google it. I think that's better. Except, oh, that's not the eraser. Hang on. Dun, dun, dun. Now where did I draw it? There, I think. Okay, that might be better. That's probably. Oh, nuts. You know what I did? I knew it too when I was drawing it. Oh my gosh. This is where everyone logs off the stream because they're like, dude, oh, what happened there? Okay. What does the chat say? Sinestro, yeah, Sinestro's logo. I've got a Sinestro picture I didn't post. I figured out, yeah, Superman's logo, all those logos, I just draw with the color and then I put a black outline around that. Seems to be easier. But it's another thing I'm glad about James Gunn in his movie is they've simplified that logo way down. Um, um, okay, so here we go. Are you talking about Rob Liefeld's sense of humor? I just feel like sometimes he's a bit too, what's the word? Maybe takes more credit than he should for certain things, maybe is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'm not trying to get into any flame wars. What did I do there? I did what I was just talking about. Okay, did it again too. Now what have I done? All right, yeah, that'll do. I'm not going to keep doing it. Thanks for sticking with me during that tough period. It's not perfect. Nobody will know unless you bring it up online. Should actually be that. I guess I'm not a good coloring in it. All right, cool. All right. So, have I caught up on the chat? Yes, I have. All right. How long have we been going, man? It's got to be long. 2.5 hours. Well, thank you for sticking with me. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate the chat. I appreciate the tips. Um, Again, I will be doing this sort of on the semi-regular, hopefully more regular. And yeah, I'm open to questions and suggestions. So thank you very much. Thank you for saying it looks great and for the thumbs ups and stuff. I will, I might pop this one on social media because I don't hate it. Um, Thanks for sticking with me. All right, I don't know how to sign these things off, so I'm just going to say thank you again and imagine, draw, create is always the motto, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. This is the awkward part where I now have to find the button to end it. So, peace out.